Hello everyone and welcome back to some more internet spaceships. It's the Monday after CitizenCon and I honestly didn't know how to start this video. I would usually want to do something like I did in 2019 where I attended and I'd have a face cam, but I'm still not very well and look horrific, so I'll spare all of you that nastiness and instead focus on the treasure trove of information for what we got that's coming to the persistent universe. And finally, the lovely preview that we got and the information about Squadron 42. This is probably going to be a long one, so settle in. Now, I always balance the good with the bad, so whilst it's been said multiple times throughout the convention, and even by Chris and many of the devs themselves, that we'll be getting a lot of these features towards Q4 at the end of the year and within 12 months, it's important for the sake of perspective and how I tend to run the content on my channel, usually anyway, except in this kind of case, that whilst these were reassuring words and wonderful visuals, they aren't yet playable, and that's what really matters to me and damn near everyone else. So, with that little reality check out of the way, we can begin to descend into the hype train that's been this year's CitizenCon, which, compared to last ones, the amount of information, the visuals, the music, and the content has been leagues ahead, mainly due to Star Engine, the new game engine, being feature complete and the single player experience at least ready for Squadron, in my view, pretty much ready to ship outside of polish, but we'll get to that. So, to begin with, on day one, we had Chris and Jared, emceeing of course, come on stage and give us this staggeringly beautiful demo of the updated game engine, showing us everything we kind of already knew, but that we take for granted a lot of the time in the engine to show us how far we've come. But then of course we had reveals put into it as well, the first of which, on Microtech, being updated fauna in the shape of space cows. These are called quasi-grazers, by the way, which were next to one of the new outpost areas, or at least an updated farm. We already have farms in the game, and all look very pretty and evoked a sense of being able to settle in verse, more on that later, and play Internet Spaceship Farmville. The next drop was our first look at the new quantum travel effect, a bit more particle-y than our current affair, though I do like it. I'm also wondering if the alien races will have a bit more of an updated effect as well, now they've changed the main one. After that, we dipped past Yela and into Crusader, with Petro's score just being hauntingly beautiful, flawlessly transitioning into the Horizon theme as we do a flyby, and as we come into the city and past a Mercury Star Runner to reveal space whales. We finally got a first look at the storm whales in the engine, and whilst it looks like they're kind of in a basic starting area, they do need work, they look great, and it's good to see something more than just like a static mesh model floating in the background somewhere for what we may have to interact with whilst we're flying around Crusader. One more jump after that brings us to the newly implemented Pyro jump point, and finally through the wormhole at the end of the approach path. No structure there, like a ring as there was in 2019. This is just the naked gravity well that Star Citizen lore tells us are the jump points, these fancy wormholes. We then had our first look at the new ruin station in Pyro and all the gorgeous visual cues it brings. The new gangs, the new standards of living, new skin tones and tattoos, our first look at the new character customization. And then we just flew through the station and got more and more visuals of this gorgeous new area, which the people at CitizenCon were able to play. More on that later. We then head to Pyro 3, now named Bloom, and into a reclaimer that looks like it's in its opening setting to become a new derelict wreck that we can explore, showing off the new fire shaders and propagation displayed when one leaves the microwave on a bit too long aboard a spaceship. All very cool stuff. A descent to the surface brings us into a new settlement, showcasing the rough and ready looks of the system. And then we get to the new water physics being shown off by a Rogue Squadron-esque Gladius group, which then show us destructible terrain and our first look at characters bleeding and crying. It all looked fantastic. Despite this being the very first video of the convention, it still remains my main highlight as it showcases everything I've come to love about this game and where we're headed. It's something I can show friends if I want to get them into it, and the music, my god, the soundtrack to it was just jaw-dropping. Pedro really knocked it out of the park with this one. Our first panel, The Future of Star Engine, gave us a deeper look at some of the aspects of the cinematic we just watched. We saw more about the fire propagation, as well as the most important thing in that reclaimer being rescued, that being the Pico plushie, much to the enjoyment of the crowd. We saw more about the new water rendering, the atmospheric shaders, the lighting, as well as Starcloth, the new tech for rendering the clothing, and the first look at Star Hair for the new character customization showcased as well, all looking amazing. Maelstrom, the new in-game destruction tech, was shown next, giving us destructible terrain. I can see this being a ways off still, as that kind of thing is a sort of thing that melts performance on PCs, especially if this is all client side with the replication and all the physics behind it. We then saw new sound design, the realistic mode, which looks really fun, giving like a muted, dull tones to how space should be. There's no sound in space. As well as a new gut-punching whomp for the P6 sniper rifle, which is a personal favourite. I'd loved watching that. After this was one of the big reveals. A real-time demonstration of the first implementation of server meshing, showing 3 servers running at once with the replication layer, which was fantastic to see, as well as Chris getting emotional to the response of the crowd, seeing it running for the first time, because it's such a big step that we need for this game to advance and go to where it needs to be. An engineering panel was next, finally showing us the potential benefits and pitfalls of owning large multi-crew ships. Things will break, things will need fixing, and you can't do it all on your own. You can't be everywhere at once. It showed us the new FTL-like gameplay with the awesome looking ship layout map thing on the console, where we can seal doors to stop people getting in, we can vent atmosphere to kill fires, all of that cool stuff involved with it. It looked fantastic. Next was Talking Ship with John Crew in the team. We got the drop of the new and improved RSI Zeus that we knew was coming, the original being the very first ship in the game's lore that was sold by RSI to the masses as a space exploration vehicle. This is like their new and improved V2 version. The ship itself looks great, although I kind of wish there was an executive transport variant. I'm interested in it. Again, I didn't jump because it's only concept, and I don't jump at concepts. But being concierge, the one thing I did grab was the concierge skin because it looks fantastic, and I wanted to get it before it vanishes off the store. We also had a look at the Cutter Scout, the second of 3 variants of the Cutter. I don't own one, however I know it's a popular ship, and a Scout version is a really good play for newers who want like a bare-bones space truck starter ship. We then got to have a look at the ship pipeline and backlog, as well as a salivating look at the current progress for the Merchantman, despite the fact that development has stopped on it for now. It's good to see this kind of transparency and gives the ship owners a good look at it. People have been waiting a long time for the Merchantman, it's a popular ship. And after that was a cool little like shadow box clip segment where we saw ships in development that were meant to be getting within the next 12 months. The first of them being some kind of hoverquad variant, then the Origin X1, then some RSI Ursa variant, then an Argo dropship. I can't remember if this one has a name. The C1 or the E1, hard to say there. What I thought was the Santek Yai, but could be some kind of larger Mirai ship. The Liberator, then the Zeus, then the Retaliator, the modular one, not the bomber, and then much to the joy of the crowd, and many of my org mates, the Polaris. We ended up with a cool video showing the state of the Polaris and someone's poor Yggdrasil going boom after getting torpedoed and ran out with a Scorpius. It was great. Polaris, again, is another really big popular ship. Our final day 1 panel was Navigating the Universe, showing us the new and improved UI elements for the helmet hood. They look so much better and so much more functional, more intuitive and a lot less clunky. Showing off the mini-map on the top left, as well as area effects like radiation, which is a new one. We were shown the new UI of the Mobiglass, lifted straight from Squadron, and then shown at first what was the new local area map, showing AI pathing and other elements like that, but in turn then panned out to show that both the local map and the new improved star map are now all integrated and overlaid as a one unit, complete with quick zoom, pings, saving locations, the AI guided path trails, quality of life improvements. It looked so good, and it's genuinely one of the things that I'm looking forward to most of all. The Mobiglass and obviously the star map has needed a lot of love for a long time, so it's awesome to see where it's gotten to. This pretty much rounded off day one, with the promise with Jared that day two would be even better. So instead of moping on about emotions for day one, we'll just jump straight into day two. It burst onto the scene with the character advancement panel, showcasing the new gangs of Pyro, their outfits, and how those can be earned by working up your way on a reputation system to get the better and more functional armor pieces. We were shown the very military way, I think, of thinking in how Pyro's residents tend to go for more lightweight options when travelling, like satchels and pouches which we can equip all over ourselves instead of massive backpacks like we used to, and that Pyro's dress code is very much function over form in comparison to Stanton and how we've been doing it for so very long now. We were told character hygiene is now going to be a thing. We aren't allowed to smell, and NPCs will react to us depending on how our character looks after themselves. As I'd said in Ollie's stream chat, I'll be nice and squeaky clean thanks to the waterfall shower in my 890. Nothing to worry about. Next was a showcase on Starcloth, showing the way that fabrics interact with each other and the environment. All very cool stuff for those of us who want to go full Matrix ensemble with our trench coats. And after that we moved on to hair, and honestly, I'm not a game dev at all, but I have friends in the industry, so I know how difficult this stuff is, and I was genuinely blown away by both the hair and the new character creation tool in general, showing how good it looks and what we can do with it, all the dyes, and oh, it looks so good. Plus, I finally saw the great pixie cut that I think will suit my character down to the ground. I'm going to have to start writing some kind of narrative or story for her or something, like some kind of background. It's getting pretty serious. After this, we had Taking Flight, which demonstrates how the flight model's been improved, how our characters and our ships react to the environment, atmospheres, the vacuum of space, a new zoomy in targeting mode to help us with the new master modes that are coming, and enabling us to effectively snipe ship components at long distance using fewer, more accurate shots instead of just squeezing or holding the trigger to try and melt shields. Very cool stuff. The final panel for day 2 was Destination Adventure, showcasing new distribution centres, which essentially they're going to be like the new Jumptown event hub with raids, but they're also going to have NPCs, missions, cargo runs, they're going to have freight running, all very good for haulers, and I can't wait to see what those will bring to the game. The one we saw was on Microtech, so it'll be interesting to see the different variants. After that, we got some information on hauling. Awesome stuff like different cargo variants, if you'll have to transport it quickly because it's perishable or slowly because it's fragile. I love this kind of stuff as a space trucker. And the main big reveal from this was the cargo lifts in our hangars. We'd seen tidbits of them before, and we knew our hangars were going to become instanced for ourselves, but now we were shown that it's essentially where we're going to have access, or have to have access to, all our own stuff. Armour, weapons, medical supplies, including like a sick looking medical crate, and most importantly, vehicles. No more will we have to travel to a garage outside Microtech or New Babbage, or fly to some outpost to go and load up a vehicle. We can just yank them out of the lift and off we go. I genuinely can't wait for this because it's been so long. The next massive reveal was the beginning of land claims and base building. This caused massive drama last time it came round when they tried to sell land claims, so it's good to see it back and being done well, even if right now it's still in a very early phase, starting development at the beginning of next year. I already know that with both Sync and Ollie, this is where so much gameplay of my time is going to be spent. Even it's just making sure Ollie is paying the rent. Really looking forward to it. and working out all the nuances and the finishing touches to an outpost, like all the interiors and the little tidbits. It's awesome. I can't wait. And finally, after so much build up, so many years, so much hype, so much bated breath, we got our Squadron 42 information. An awesome video showcasing what's been done over the years, why it's taken so long, finally, and how essentially everything we've just watched over the past 2 days has come from Squadron 42's single player experience and all the updates to the engine in regards to that. The music, the characters, the locations, the atmospheres. It's genuinely going to look like it's going to be an amazing game, and I can't wait. On that point, sadly, we didn't get a fixed release date, which I thought we would. I thought we were genuinely going to get a release date, so that's a bit disappointing. But Chris kind of memed with it running that he knows we don't like release dates that are fixed. But now we know it's feature complete and just in the polish phase, I reckon, and this could be a dangerous comment here that I may have to eat, I reckon 6 to 8 months is about right. I really wouldn't be surprised if they decide to try and drop it at the next Invictus event next year, because I think the two would line up perfectly for, you know, it's all the UE Navy, it's perfect for sales, perfect for marketing, perfect for hype. It's a chance to re-drop the F8 or get some special F8 liveries or something for when you finish Squadron. It all lines up, really wouldn't be surprised. So that was CitizenCon 2023 in a nutshell. Despite the fact that I've not been well and I wish I could have been there, never been to America, it's been fun to watch it and follow along in chats, get involved in the hype, watch the website break, speaking of, under the strain of everyone clamouring in to see the Pyro preview page, because as of the end of the month, October the 31st, Halloween, we'll be getting the chance to jump into and explore Pyro as the convention attendees did. So I'm genuinely hoping I'm in one of the early waves so I can get recording and show my reactions to just about everything. Music, locations, missions, it's going to be so much fun. I'm waiting with bated breath, but I'm still remembering that we don't have it in our hands yet. Words are just words. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't hyped and ready to jump into Pyro and begin throwing my character around, begin exploring and getting into some proper space spelunking again, in an updated and improved game engine and UI elements whilst my character gets a new hairdo and looks incredible. My computer is going to melt, but I think in the long run it's going to be worth every single second. So, what did you think to CitizenCon 2023? Are you going to need a new computer? Are you now regretting your massive ship purchase now that you actually need to find some engineers to fix things when they break? And will Tobii Eye Tracker ever sponsor me? Let me know below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. If you like this and think I deserve it, please give it a like, consider subbing if you fancy sticking around. If you're thinking of taking part in the game, feel free to use my referral code on screen or click the link below for bonus in-game money that helps me out as well. See you in the next one.